I already got my pour in. Peter's got to get his pour in. He's doing a sad pour. I've got a happy pour. The only two hats that were fitting for this show. Peter's got his Yankee loser post-it thing going on here, and I've got our Buehler Family Foundation hat. The LA Dodgers have won the World Series. They take it 4-1 over the New York Yankees with an insane win in game five. What a back and forth affair. I, I mean, you could call it a defensive disaster class from the New York Yankees. We're going to talk about all of it. Jack and Peter on the Just Baseball Show for Thursday, October 31st. Happy Halloween. We've got a World Series winner. I don't know about you, man. The post-it note on your hat makes me think that you're in a bad mood. I just watched our guy that was appearing on our pod for the last 2 years close out the World Series. I'm doing backflips.
It's a good day for the haters.
It's a great day for the haters, and I love being a hater. Cheers to that.
Cheers, Dick. Um, if it
Anything?
was if it was going to be anybody to close us out, let it be our friend Walker Buehler, who earned it and just continues to prove why he's one of the best postseason pitchers in the league.
Yeah.
I'm excited to talk with him in the off season, and by excited I mean dreading it because it's going to be horrible.
Can
You
you
and
wear
Arm are
that
just going to
same?
be
Can you wear the same hat when he comes on?
sure. You and Arm are just going to be smiling. Walker's going to be smiling. It's going to suck. I mean, this whole offseason is going to be terrible. I'm never being taken seriously about the Yankees ever again. That's gone. My so-called delusion was clearly real, right? I read the same comments that you read. Why does Peter think that the series is close now when they only won one game? Um, 5 unearned runs is going to haunt my life forever.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of those
Mm-hmm.
losses that'll never leave you. The previous loss that has never left me is that wild card game where Garrett Cole gave up all those home runs to the Red Sox. But this wasn't one of those outings. This was a great outing, and the team around him fell apart. And it symbolized the season that the Yankees just weren't buttoned up enough. They didn't do the little things good enough. And if you don't, the Dodgers are going to fuck you. They're just too good. If you aren't playing perfect baseball, they are just too good. And what keeps creeping in the back of my mind is that the Dodgers are just scratching the surface. I was at game 3 talking to Yankee fans, and all of us were in agreement. This team is not only better than us, but all right, let's say we do give Soto $700 billion, whatever. Glasnow didn't pitch.
Yeah.
Shohei didn't pitch. So the one thing that we might have had over them in a vacuum, which proved to not even be true, we have the better starting pitching, right? We lost in 5. That was our only chance.
And the game one starter laid an egg in game five.
Yeah, like
You told me before we started recording that I was going to need to carry this show. What I didn't realize it was I'm going to need to be the vibes curator of this one too. I'm going to bring the juice in a way that you
you have to.
cannot imagine.
Because I don't want my pain to ruin Dodger fans' time. I mean, there could be I half Dodger fans are probably
I think a
way more
lot of
excited
people are
that I'm in
loving it.
total pain. But maybe people coming across this podcast for the first time is like, oh, we got just this boring,
Oh, is
sad
this a Yankee
host.
podcast? I didn't know that this was a Yankee show. No, this is the Just Baseball show. Peter, who's it presented by? Do you have the read ready or are you too sad? Because I have the read in front of me. I can do that if you want.
Yeah, you do the read.
Okay. Well, the bullpen jackpot is
that's
over, so I
that's the
don't even
thing.
think it matters anymore.
It's just the first bet offer up to $1,500 back on BetMGM. Um, I don't even know what you'd use it for right now.
Gambling
Um,
problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 21 years or older. Terms and conditions apply. There we go.
yeah.
Let's get into game five. Let's get into this game five recap. That was the worst MGM read we've ever done. I hope Colby sends it to corporate and we get reamed for that.
Can one person sign up just
Yeah,
cause of that? Do me if one person.
sure.
You would be like, look, this worked. No, I don't know. I don't know. Just get to the fucking recap.
Here's the recap, Peter. I did it, so you don't have to, listen to Peter, I don't just kind of like shitting himself through all of this. And I will bring a little bit of pep in my step on this one when I
I'm
read it.
gonna have a lot of alcohol on this show. I poured
That's
an
fine.
enormous glass, and I'm just
That's
gonna
fine.
continue.
Final score: Dodgers 7, Yankees 6. Garrett Cole looked dynamite right away with a 7 pitch, 1-2-3 first inning. And in the bottom of the first, Aaron Judge happened. After a Soto walk, Judge drove a pitch right down the heart of the plate, 109 miles an hour and 403 feet out to right center to make it 2-0. Sleeping Giant has awoken indeed. Great call, Joe Davis. 4 pitches later, Jazz Chisholm got to Jack Flaherty on another four-seamer, putting it out to right as well. He went pull side, so back-to-back shots from the Yankees in the bottom of the first. In the second, Anthony Volpe ripped a ball down the left field line. Alex Verdugo brought him in with an RBI single to chase Flaherty. Final line for Jack Flaherty. Inning and a third, 4 hits, 4 runs charged against him, 2 homers. Yanks made it 5-0 in the bottom of the third during an Aaron Boone interview, nonetheless when Giancarlo Stanton hit his 7th home run of the postseason. It was an opposite field blast. Looked like the first damage would come against Cole when Freddie Freeman wrapped one to left center in the fourth, but Aaron Judge went leaping into the plexiglass in front of the Dodger bullpen in left center to make the grab. It was a hell of a catch. Shit hit the fan in the fifth. I'm going to recap it. We're going to talk about it at length after I get through the recap. Kike Hernandez led off the inning with a single to right. Then Aaron Judge whiffed on a liner from Tommy Edman to straightaway center when Judge was coming in. Then Will Smith bounced a ball to the backhand of Volpe at short, and he spiked the throw to Jazz Chisholm at third to try and nab the lead man. So Cole's time to hunker down, bases loaded, nobody out. He K's Gavin Lux with 99. He K's Otani with a breaking ball after 98 elevated. And with 2 outs and the bases loaded after back-to-back punchouts, he got Mookie Betts to squib one over to first base. But Garrett Cole doesn't cover the bag. First run came in on the gaff. Then Freddie Freeman singled in a pair. Then Teoscar Hernandez doubled in a pair to tie the game at 5-5 in the fifth. None of those 5 runs were earned. Giancarlo gave the Yanks the lead with a sac fly in the sixth against Brusdar Graterol. But then in the eighth, Tommy Kahnle loaded the bases without recording an out. Changeups weren't working. Then Luke Weaver surrendered a sacrifice fly from Lux to tie it. Catcher's interference loaded the bases again. And a guy that was sort of kind of close to an auto out in Shohei Otani post shoulder injury was put at first base, and that brought Mookie Betts up. He got 98 elevated from Weaver. He lifted a sac fly to dead center to give the Dodgers a 7-6 lead. Bottom of the inning, Aaron Judge doubled, Jazz walked, but Blake Treinen K'd Anthony Rizzo on his 42nd pitch to finish 2 1/3. And in the ninth, Walker effing Buehler on 1 day rest got Anthony Volpe to ground out to third. He K'd Austin Wells and Alex Verdugo to end it, both on the breaking ball. And that is how the World Series ended. Buehler got the save. Treinen was the winner. Kahnle was the loser. 7-6. Dodgers win it in 5. I won't make you react to the game as a whole because I know it's going to be, yeah, it was shitty, Jack. And what else you want me to say? So let's go right to that fifth inning. That was a disaster class, an implosion from the Yankee defense. The Judge gaff, that was clearly just a mental error. It was a brain fart when he was coming in. The Volpe play, he was sped up, he looked sped up, and it resulted in something negative. I know there was a certain facet or a certain section of baseball Twitter that was saying that Rizzo should have charged that ground ball from Mookie Betts. That doesn't fall on Anthony Rizzo. That's on Cole for not going to cover the bag. He does the job. He does the thing that you get to Arizona or Florida in mid-February for pitchers fielding practice, and Garrett Cole is out of that inning unscathed. And it didn't happen, and shit hit the fan.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you, and I kind of don't, but I mostly do. Um, Cole's just got to get over there, right? Even if you see the ball hit to first, you just got to get over there. But again, Garrett Cole on the mound, Anthony Rizzo at first. Matt Carpenter said it best when he posted about it on Twitter that that play has happened where Garrett Cole hasn't needed to cover because Rizzo gets the ball and is able to beat the runner to first base. The thing is, it had so much spin on it. So it spun kind of away from Rizzo. He sat back on it and he assumed that Cole, it was just kind of miscommunication. It's really on both of them. That's why I say, like, I disagree and I don't because I agree with you. Cole has to be over there no matter what.
Yeah.
At
So
the same time, though, like, I mean, Rizzo, and again, I was wrong about Rizzo. Like, just, I don't know if it was pure delusion. I don't know what it was. I just was wrong about everything.
so my thought on that is when in doubt, cover the bag.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. We're on the same page there. Um, would have liked if Rizzo charged it, like made the out himself. That would have been
For sure.
nice.
But when in
But
doubt,
yeah,
cover the bag. Like when in
yeah, you're
doubt,
right.
pop off the mound
Cole
and
has to
Cole
be there. He
Cole
has to
has
be
to
there.
be there at least.
Yes.
He needs to be
Yes.
there as backup. He needs to be, you talk about like blanket coverage. Like he needs to be the blanket option where, hey, if Rizzo gets beat on this ground ball, if he misplays it, if he stays back on it, Cole has to be there to cover the bag regardless. And even if he's not needed, he needs to be there as a backup plan. And he just wasn't. The Judge error, I don't think there's anything to analyze there. And frankly, the Volpe error, I don't think there's anything to analyze there. I will say that was pretty damn gritty from Cole, who looked so good through the first four. And I thought John Smoltz made a great point. There are very few pitchers on the planet that can get five high stakes outs after that inning. And he
Yeah.
came out, worked a scoreless sixth, and got two outs in the seventh.
It's what an ace looks like. It's what
Yeah,
a potential future Hall of Famer looks like. I mean, the assassin look in his eyes. We all
yeah.
saw it. We saw it in game one as well.
Didn't
These
Tyone
guys,
tweet that? Like I was totally with him. In the first, second inning, Cole looked like he was like spinning in a good way where he was just so focused. It's almost like you put I recently had my first Zen experience.
oh,
And
really?
yeah, it brutal. I did a 6 instead of a
Yeah,
3.
I've been addicted for like 4 years.
So I had my first experience and I was so laser focused because I didn't want to throw up. I was like picking certain spots to look and just dead set, like staring into the soul of the park bench.
Almost, almost like when you're on a boat or something and you're feeling a little seasickness.
Exactly.
Like
You
they
just
tell you to
pick a
stare at the
spot and
horizon,
stare a hole through it.
but you're on flat ground, just
Yeah.
as in.
Yes, exactly. But in a
Made me feel
good
better.
way, that's how I felt like Cole looked in the first 4 innings, where he was
Mm,
just so laser focused.
yeah.
There was nothing happening in that ballpark aside from Austin Wells's glove.
Yes, I'm so glad you meant because that's what I said earlier, right? Where it's with Cole and even with Judge too. It's not about pressure. It's just like they're so lasered in. It's just about executing with them. Um, and Cole was brilliant, just like he always is. He's that guy. He's our ace, and he left it all out there on the line, and deserves all the money that we give him. But the Yankees, as a team, failed him. Completely failed him. I mean, Judge, you just can't miss that.
You ever seen a defensive meltdown like that? Even in the
Nope.
regular season. I'm just thinking about, obviously there are games where Major League Baseball teams have put up, 4 errors. Like the
Remember,
Yankees commit three
remember at the
errors.
All Star break where we watched Verdugo run it on that ball and then fall down, and then the Orioles won. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yeah, that
Yes.
sucked. No, but that's the thing. That's why I brought it up again. It's You're right. The Yankees have had not had a meltdown to that magnitude, obviously, but
It looked like the moment got huge for them, man. And I can chalk up
out of nowhere, you're
out of
so right.
nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
And I can chalk up the Wells catcher's interference as, just poor timing. Like
Yeah,
that shit's gonna happen. I give Wells a pass for that. But Weaver forgetting that it was his third disengagement and
yeah,
going over to try and get Taylor, like
yeah,
that adds to the meltdown, man.
yeah.
I mean, these guys, like it felt like the World Series for the first time in a bad way for the New York Yankees. Obviously, magnitude, you hope that guys rise to this occasion, but it really felt like the moment got a little bit too big for them in the fifth inning, and then Weaver at the end of his outing too. And of course, he was drained. He was throwing his third day in a row. Luke Weaver has been on the mound essentially every game for the New York Yankees, and he's
All
been
high
tasked
stress
with
too. It's all high stress.
all high stress, and he's working like 5 outs at a time because he's a former starting pitcher. He can do this. I mean, dude, like it just seemed like they were mentally taxed, and it got the best of them in the fifth inning, and then in the back half of that game as a whole.
Yeah. Just and like you don't see Volpe make those plays. Like I know it was a relatively tough play in the hole, but I mean Jazz is right there, hit him in the chest, Volpe. Aaron Judge. And these were routine. That's why people are calling it a melt, and for good reason. They weren't tough plays that was just a little wonky. These were all routine. A little pop fly to Aaron Judge. He's caught a billion of those in his entire life. Anthony Volpe has made that play at third a billion times in his life. Luke Weaver knows the rules, right? Like Luke Weaver
He
knows the
has to know the
rules.
rules.
He knows the rules. This my post-it note's falling off. I'm keeping it on. I
Oh,
deserve it. I couldn't believe what I was watching. I was just watching a team that knows that it can't make these little mistakes if they want to make the Dodgers, make them all basically in one inning. And then from there, momentum was done. We even took the lead, but it felt like we were losing. It
Here's
just, they never let up. And also, I mean, we're talking about the Yankees melting. Credit the Dodgers for staying in
yeah,
there, though.
no
I mean,
doubt,
there's one thing you got to put the ball in play. You could have struck out too.
no doubt.
That's why you put the ball in play. And, you know, what they were saying on the broadcast sucked to hear, but it was accurate. The Dodgers learned how to fight. What have been the Dodgers' biggest problems? Why is this such a big win for Dodgers fans? Because they've been here before.
Yep,
They've lost some tough series, and they've lost early. And you ask them, why did you lose? We had no fight. We had no dog in us.
they had a
Comes the
lot of dog.
dog, and then here comes more reinforcements. And if I hear one of these fucking reporters say that the Dodgers are in on Juan Soto, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. I'm
That's a November
I
conversation.
know it's a November conversation. And then Corbin Burns quote tweeting
Yeah,
the Dodgers winning with
that
the
was out of
eyes.
bounds.
I almost threw up. I like had to go to the bathroom before this. I almost threw up. Like,
That
what the
was out of
fuck is
bounds from
happening?
Burns.
What the fuck is happening? The Dodgers win the World Series. They're going to get Glasnow back. Otani's going to pitch and go 50-50. What, they're going to sign Burns and Soto? What, are they going to defer it all to 2172? What the fuck?
It's really hard to win World Series, man. Like the Dodgers have been paying a lot of money to a lot of guys, and they've been growing the best minor league talent for a while now. And they have won legitimate World Series. I think a lot of people were ready to argue
No,
that.
it's
And
two. It's
this is
two.
the what can you say now thing. And I thought Buehler put that well. It's like a lot of people,
Yeah.
a lot of people painted that in a weird way. Like, there's nothing there. There's nothing, left that's valid to that 2020 argument anymore because they won it in 2024. But you got to think like there have been three champions between Dodger World Series, and like they've been spending like this. Now they didn't have Shohei Ohtani on the team. No, they didn't have Yamamoto on the team. They didn't have Glasnow on the team. But like something I don't want people to forget is that relative to the expectations, relative to every other team's injured list, this was a pretty hard year for the Los Angeles Dodgers. They lost a lot of pitching. They
Yeah.
missed Mookie Betts for months. They like Freddie Freeman was on one leg during the CS.
Shohei didn't have a shoulder.
Shohei didn't have a shoulder in the World Series and he didn't have an elbow all year. I mean,
He
Clayton
played with one arm behind his back.
Kershaw started how many games for them? Bueller missed a couple months. They had a hard go of it this year.
This is
Relative.
this is a nightmare.
I
This is
know.
a
I
nightmare.
know.
Because this is the lower version of the Dodgers. This is the version that got hurt. This is the version that doesn't have all their stars. This is the version that still hasn't had this offseason.
It's one
Oh
thing to
no.
get there.
Oh no. Oh no. They're gonna. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
You want to see what Alabama football looks like in baseball? Get fired up. This is the Dodger experience.
They're gonna get AJ McCarron.
maybe, but he
Win
was a
like
game
did he win like
manager.
3 national championships doing
Yeah,
nothing?
Bama leveled up when they had a good quarterback like a Hurts and a Tua. But
Yeah.
I do want to go to the Dodger pitching here because this was a bullpen day that should not have been a bullpen day. They ran out Jack Flaherty, who was awesome in game one. Flaherty got 4 outs, and he looked terrible.
Hey, I
Bombs
was
away.
right about that. That was the only thing I was right about for like
Dude,
everything.
I saved this screenshot. I mean, come on. You cannot you cannot do that to Aaron Judge. That's as middle as I've seen a pitch in the postseason. But Flaherty got 4 outs. Then Bonda followed with 2 outs. He didn't allow a run.
Wait a
Then
minute, hold on,
Brazier,
hold on.
yeah,
Just to go quickly back to that because I was having my 15th sip of bourbon in the
yeah,
last five
yeah.
seconds.
You're getting a little
Um,
flush.
I swore the Yankees were winning the World Series when Aaron Judge hit that home run. I swear to God. I swear on everything. I was like, they let us. I tweeted it out like a fucking moron.
Oy.
They let us get hot. I was like, Judge just saw one. I was thinking about you, what you said yesterday about Judge potentially seeing one at the end there.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, I think Judge is more measured than that, but I was buying into every narrative. I don't care if it was true or not. I was buying into everything. Then they just keep hitting. Jazz hits the home run, and I'm like, oh my God.
Stanton goes
Like
yard,
everything,
and
Stanton
Boone
goes
hits you
yard.
with a bang mid-interview.
The other hitters in the bottom of the lineup, because that's huge, right? Because you can't even win if the top five are still hitting. Like you need every single hitter in the Yankees lineup to do something.
Yeah.
Verdugo hitting,
Yeah.
Volpe hitting. They look great. And then they destroyed my life.
Getting back to the Dodger pitching.
Yeah, sure.
Flaherty only got 4 outs. He did not look good. Peter was convinced the Yankees were winning the World Series when Jack Flaherty left the game. And then Bonda finished the job in the second. And then Brazier allowed that homer to Stanton and then settled right back in. Michael Kopech worked a scoreless fourth. Alex Vessiel worked a scoreless fifth. Bruce Dargratto ran into some issues. He had 1 run charge to him. I want to save Buehler and Treinen for their own segments. But the fact that the Dodger bullpen was ready to bridge to Blake Treinen and Treinen was ready to push his limits and Buehler was ready to throw on 1 day rest, this was an all hands on deck type of win. And I thought
Yes, it
Ken
was.
Rosenthal's conversation with Dave Roberts mid game was awesome.
He was
And
perfect. Dave
they,
Roberts was perfect.
he was perfect all series. He
He's
put on
perfect.
a managerial masterclass.
One of the best. I mean, here's the thing. It's like I did think after like some of the thoughts that were creeping in my head was that was one of the most well managed World Series and playoff runs that I can really remember. But again, it's hard. I mean, I want to give Dave Roberts the credit. He deserves the credit, right? He's just won a World Series. He won his second World Series. But it's like they have all really good players. So to be able to go to Kopech, to be able to go to Treinen, like those are managerial moves, but these are like the best bullpen arms in the sport. And that's just a testament to the Dodgers.
Yeah.
They had the guy pressing the right buttons, and all of those buttons are fucking elite.
Yep.
So, I mean, he could have messed it up, right? But he didn't. And when he went out there to go get Treinen, and he said, I looked into his eyes and I believed in him. And then Treinen got that strikeout at the end, and that whole fucking Dodgers team was just hyped beyond belief. I wanted to crawl into a ball and die
Yeah.
because I knew it was over. I knew that strikeout, it was over because that was too much momentum for a team that good. And then with Walker coming in, we had no shot. I even
Yeah.
had Juan Soto over 1.5 bases. We hit his over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs earlier. He was up fifth in the inning, right? Because it was 7-8-9-1-2.
Yeah.
And I said, I looked over to my girlfriend Amaris and I said, I'll bet you $1 billion we never get to Soto. I was like, it would be a miracle if we got to Glaber. Like just get one hit or a walk. It was a miracle. I looked at her, I was like, Buehler's gonna come in and this is over. And I swear I started getting all the graphics ready. As soon as he came in, actually after trying and got that strikeout, I started getting everything ready. It was over. And that's a testament to their talent.
Yep.
It's a testament to the nuts hanging off these guys. It's a testament to the entire organization from top to bottom. Andrew Friedman had a perfect deadline. Perfect. Flaherty, Edman, Kopech. What
Kike.
the Kike? Yeah. Fucking Kike, that fucking asshole. Yeah, fucking Kike.
It's amazing what he did with this team.
And then to go on Instagram, the first clip that comes on my feed is like a 3-month-old interview from Kike Hernandez saying, "Oh, I was almost
There goes your loser. Yeah, your loser sticky note.
that he was between the Yankees and the Dodgers in free agency."
Nice.
Oh, God. Why is he so good at center? What the fuck is that?
Kike?
Yeah, he looked great in center field. I know he had that weird play at the beginning where he like kind of tripped and then still caught the ball. He's flying out
It's
there.
postseason Kike, man.
Oh, what an asshole.
This is just what he does. I want to get to Treinen now because Treinen was masterful. And Blake Treinen worked 2 1/3 innings, 1 hit, no runs. He walked 1, he K'd 3, including Rizzo. That led to that eruption as he came off the mound after the 8th inning. Treinen threw 42 pitches. That was the most he threw in a game this season. I'm not sure where that stacks up in his career. I would assume that's near the top or at the top. What did Joe Davis say? Emptied the tank? Treinen empties the tank? Or did he say, like, he said something that I was like, yes, that's exactly what digs deep.
Oh,
Joe
here,
Davis
no.
said,
Joe Davis said he emptied his nuts on the Yankees. That's what he said.
no, he didn't. You're not
Oh, he
allowed to
didn't
say
say
that on
that?
Fox.
Oh, true. Yeah, that's a good point.
After he got the punch out of Rizzo, he said Blake Treinen digs deep. And that's exactly what this guy did. Aram and I talked about him throwing north of 50 pitches over the first 2 games in LA. And the Dodgers were up 2-0 in the series. But we essentially thought that he was burned for game 3. And man, this guy came back and worked an inning longer than anybody should have in that situation. It was all guts for the last 2 innings. Treinen and Buehler. Treinen running on fumes, getting that punch out when he needed it after the Judge double, after he walked Jazz, and then Buehler doing that on 1 day rest. I mean, I can't say enough about those two in that effort, but I did want to start with Treinen because without that effort, we're getting ready for game 6 in LA.
I think it's hard for even you because you're so eloquent with your words, clearly. It's hard to put into words what they did. Do you know why? Because it's hard to talk about perfection.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what Treinen was. Like, how do you describe it? How do you describe what Walker was probably feeling on the mound? He probably felt like Thanos with all the Infinity Stones.
He said he felt like he was 5 pounds.
Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine what these guys are feeling like when they grab that momentum and they know it's theirs. And on top of it, Blake Treinen, Walker Buehler with adrenaline, we're fucked.
Mm-hmm.
Just bottom line. They're better than anything we can throw out there. In that moment, Blake Treinen, I mean, it's the only thing I was right about in the series. Treinen being the ultimate X factor.
Yeah.
Like, I hope everybody saw what I've been seeing like since Oakland. He's one of the best relievers pitch for pitch I've ever seen. And now you might say, well, that's an overreaction, Peter. What do you mean?
I don't think so.
You know, he's been hurt. He's been this. No, he isn't. Watch him for a second. This man has that same thing that Cole has, the cold-blooded assassin eyes, where he's standing there with his stupid goatee beating the shit out of us, beating the shit out of everything, beating the shit out of as long as he's healthy and he's got sinker slider, doesn't even really need command. If he has it, it's so over. If he doesn't have it, it's a 1-2-3 inning with like 17 pitches. I mean, and then Buehler, one of the best postseason pitchers of our generation, of my entire life. I'm 26 years old. Coming into there in the 9th to face 7, 8, 9. it was so over. Actually, the more I said 7-8-9 to almost discredit Buehler. 1-2-3, 2-3. He would have gotten us out. He
Yeah.
just would have.
Yeah.
It didn't matter who he faced. But the only reason I said 7-8-9 was to put further emphasis on it was so over when he first got in. Right? If he was facing 2-3-4, I might have had a sliver of hope. But
I'm just thinking like we're what 6 years removed from Treinen's year where he threw 80 innings to a 0.78 ERA in Oakland. That was in 2018 when he was 30. He's
yeah,
36 now, and he gave us a 1.93 in 46 and two-thirds. He was hurt. It's amazing what that guy has done. And you bridged us to Buehler. I don't know how much there is left to say about Walker Buehler. Um, but that guy, like, there are not many starting pitchers that come to mind when you think I need a guy on very, very short rest to go throw a ninth when shit hits the fan. And Buehler said he had not touched a baseball today until he got out to the bullpen and started throwing. Um, they were running through, the notable names of starting pitchers that have come out of the pen and finished off a World Series. And obviously, in Dodger lore in 2020, it was Arias, but before that, it was Sale in 2018, and it was Bumgarner in 2014. And like you remember those guys for a really, really long time. You always remember the starter that pushed their limits, that pushed their boundaries. This guy just missed 2 years recovering from his second Tommy John surgery. And he was throwing like a shell of himself. And we've already touched on this after he was awesome in the CS, like, and awesome in the World Series. I mean, this guy was having a terrible season by his standards in a contract year, in a year where he needed to decide where he's going to pitch next year. How much money is he going to make next year? Like, it was not going well. And then he rattles off that CS, and then he rattles off that World Series start, and then he comes back and wins his team the game. He's on the mound for the final out. That's like so cut from a different cloth. And I don't know if there's a better way to say it. But
let me
he's
let me try
built
and
like
put it
that.
in yeah, let me try and put it into words. There's levels to this game we call baseball.
Yeah.
There is the uber talented, no real head on their shoulders guy. Hits some long home runs, steals some fun bases, flashes talent, doesn't really have it. There's the guy with the elite mentality. Not enough talent, though, but sticks in the league because he just has that killer instinct. There are players with some talent and a killer instinct that elevate their game in the highest moment. There are some players with elite talent, some killer instinct who elevate their game at the highest moment. And then there are some guys where we call a killer instinct, but it's just a little bit higher than that. It's just something that you can't, especially me, just a fat idiot describing it on the couch. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't fucking have it. That's why I'm sitting here.
Right.
But he's got it.
Just
And also I want to just continue this point because I've known it ever since we started talking to him on this podcast. Like, even the way he breaks down pitching, it's so like Cole has it. I really do think Cole has it too.
Cole has
I
it.
think
Yeah.
Soto has it. And I think Buehler has it.
I'm thinking about pitchers in the game that have that. Scherzer
Wheeler,
has it. Sale has it.
Sale
Wheeler
has it.
has it.
Yep. Verlander has it.
Verlander has it. Cole has it.
No.
Verlander may not have it.
Verlander might not have it. It's just a
And
different.
that's the thing. Verlander is a future first ballot Hall of Famer. And Buehler's got a career 3.27 ERA. It's awesome. But he's 29 years old. He's thrown 713 innings. Like, the odds are stacked against him getting into Cooperstown. He's not gonna be
Hey,
somebody
never
that
say never.
I know. I'm totally with you. I just think, like, as it stands right now, when you ask me who were the best pitchers in baseball from 2017 through 2024, not a lot of baseball fans are going to say Walker Buehler is on that list.
You know what this is kind of is just making me think back to my dad. Like he was a Chicago Cubs fan growing up.
Yeah.
Um, born in Evanston, Illinois, moved to New York,
Yeah.
became a Yankee fan from his Cubs fandom, which I make fun of him that he's a fraud all the time.
Right.
But regardless, that's a story for another time. Um, his favorite player was Billy Williams on the Cubs,
Yeah.
not Ernie Banks, even though Ernie Banks was a better player. And I think Walker will be that guy for
Yes.
Dodger fans,
Yes.
where it's like, oh, you got to watch Ohtani and Mookie and Freddie. Like, how was that? My favorite player is Walker Buehler.
Right.
Here's why. And then you show him all these clips of this. You show your son the history of domination that may be forgotten in 40 years, right? That won't be forgotten because he got the last out. But just in general baseball fan lore, right? From this World Series, even though Ohtani didn't play very well, when you and I are 57 years old.
I remember Ohtani in the World Series.
Yeah,
I remember when he hurt his
Ohtani
shoulder.
and
I remember,
Mookie.
Freddie was a World Series MVP.
Right.
Like,
And then Yamamoto got his first start, like all those kind of things. But then both of us kind of under our breath are going to be like, remember
Buehler
Walker?
was gross. Yeah.
Remember Walker? And that's the lowest he's ever going to be in his career, right?
Yeah.
In the terms of that's the bottom tier of Walker Buehler is he will be remembered as a fucking dog.
Yes.
He will be remembered as an assassin. And that's the bottom. Because he's 29 and he still has all of his career in front of him. He's recovered from 2 TJ surgeries.
Yeah.
I don't think any team's going to look at him and be like, does he have confidence? Fuck your confidence. Yeah.
Yes.
He fucking does. Yes, obviously. So he's going to get a good deal next year. Hopefully he Venmos me because I've been by his side.
Yeah.
I feel like I've earned it. No, I've just had a lot of bourbon. I'm so proud of him. I mean, like, that was really cool.
It's been
me.
a very long road for that guy, and it's been cool to meet all of the people in his corner, and he's got a really good corner.
Great corner.
And again, this guy has a career 3.27 ERA in the regular season, and coming into this relief outing, he had a 3.07 ERA in the postseason.
Yeah.
And this guy is one of the best World Series pitchers that we have ever seen statistically.
And I also want to be clear, too. So I have a lot of friends. I've talked about them before. They're my best friends in the world. They all live in California, all enormous Dodger fans. Like, as much as I'm a Yankee fan, they are a Dodger fan. 7th inning, bring Buehler in. Bring Buehler in. Bring Buehler in.
Wow.
Buehler. Now. They were trying to get him over Treinen. They wanted their guy. Buehler's their guy.
Yeah.
And he did it. Easily. I mean, that inning went by in 4 seconds. I was trying to get the post up. It was 2 outs before I could even press post.
It was also funny because he got such a shitty swing from Verdugo at the end.
Oh,
that the crowd didn't react. Like, you didn't get that pop when the final out happened.
It wasn't like a fastball up at the zone where it's like bang. It was like a curveball where it was kind of, and then because also Buehler is such a killer that he doesn't immediately freak out.
He's just stoically hands up.
Because that's who he is. That's what a killer does when they win. Like, they're not even in that moment yet. They are in a zone that I can't explain because I'm a fat idiot talking on a podcast, but I can try my best. But you know what I'm saying? They're in a different zone that nobody recording podcasts, unless they've played, can understand. And that's why I'm so excited to talk with him in the offseason.
Yep.
I keep saying excited. Like, I am excited to talk to him, but it's going to suck. I mean, he's just going to keep bringing up all these things, and it's going to suck. But he deserves it, and he's the man.
So I thought Sam Dykstra of MLB.com put out an interesting note. The go-ahead run for the Dodgers came on a Mookie Betts sacrifice fly. And that was a Luke Weaver heater that was elevated. And Weaver is 20 to 21 inches of induced vert. Like, it's one of the better fastballs in the postseason.
You see Vesia hit 25.
Yeah,
is that
so
real?
It's different because it was a pitch that almost hit Austin Wells in the shoulder
Ah,
Like it took off, but when Vesia was in the zone, it's 21, it's 21 and a half. It's one of the better four seam
crazy.
fastballs that we have in baseball. Luke Weaver's four seam fastball is one of the better four seam fastballs that we have in baseball.
Oh yeah,
But Sam put out this note that Mookie Betts had the third lowest whiff rate against four seamers during the regular season. That pitch was a ball above the strike zone, and Mookie pumped it out to center to plate the go ahead run and the eventual winning run. Luis Ariz had a 3.9% whiff rate on four seamers. Stephen Kwan had a 4.4% whiff rate. Mookie Betts had a 6.5. Mookie falls into the category of Ariz and Kwan when it comes to swinging and hitting four seam fastballs. Mookie Betts is now the only active Major League Baseball player with 3 World Series rings. He has an MVP. He does everything right. And he's one of those guys that is nauseatingly perfect in the
perfect.
best way.
Yeah,
And I can't I
yeah.
was going to throw the stray of all strays at the Boston Red Sox, but I won't do it.
No,
Uh
not worth it. I mean, it's not like the
he's
Yankees were in the World Series and the Red Sox, didn't make the playoffs or anything. Like we
he's
don't have to talk
tracking
about that.
he's tracking to be an all-time great. And he's
Oh,
tracking to go in with a Dodger cap on.
oh, he is a first ballot Hall of Famer if he retires.
Now,
Peter, you've had a lot of bourbon.
yeah,
Relax.
he's so
Um,
young.
he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. I mean, I think we're both aligned on that. Not if he retired tomorrow. I've just had some bourbon. Um,
Mookie Betts is 32 years old. He just turned 32
Dude,
this
we
month,
went over the
October
war.
7th.
We went
I
over
know.
the war. He's going to be 100 war guy, barring injury, and he's too athletic to get injured. Like he's too perfect.
He
He's like
missed
one of
about
those.
50 games this year, by the way.
So I've never met Mookie. I've never even seen him in person where I've gotten the chance to like shake his hand or anything. But when I was working for the Yankees, I met a lot of big time stars, shaked hands at least, or at least been in like right near them. I remember I've told this story where I was on the field and Judge and Stanton walked by, and I was like, "Holy shit, those guys are huge!" And then I saw Chapman, and I was like, "That guy looks like General Grievous." Like
Yeah.
I don't know how his body is formed like that. Um, and we met the core four. So I met Posada, I met Pettit, I met Jeter, Mariano Rivera had a glow about him. Like me personally, just unveiling the curtain, I'm not much of a religious guy, but he kind of made me believe in a higher power. I mean, he was,
Is this the Buffalo Trace talking at this point? It might be.
yes, we're fully gone. He glowed. I swear on everything. I I don't get nervous around really anybody. I don't know why. I just don't. And that's not a flex. I don't know why. I just don't.
No, I'll tell you,
I
quick aside.
was
Yeah.
he made my skin quiver in the per, amazing person,
Yeah.
but just his presence
Yeah. It's like you're
was
Mariano Rivera.
it felt like I mean Jeter is an all-time Yankee, right? I bet if you ask most Yankee fans who's their favorite player, it's Jeter over Mariano, even though Mariano's the GOAT reliever. But Mariano had a different energy. I've never met Mookie. I've never stand next to him, but I feel like if there is a player in baseball right now with that sort of glow, it's Mookie
Yeah.
Betts.
I think what you're talking about is the feeling of being starstruck.
But
And
not even starstruck because I've stood near Judge. Mariano was different. There's a
now
different.
it hits you in different ways, man. Like,
It's when you're a perfect human being. Like Mariano retires after being the greatest closer ever, winning a ton of rings, allowing less runs in the playoffs than men on the moon, and then goes builds churches in Latin America. Like that's a
fair.
perfect like Mookie once he's done after he's won 6 championships and he has 115 career WAR is going to go like solve world hunger. Like that's just like who Mookie is. He's a
Uh,
perfect
I think it's just the one experience you have being starstruck, and it hits you in a bunch of different ways. To be totally honest with you, Mariano, and like I'm sure you'd be starstruck by Mookie Betts. I'm sure you'd be starstruck by Otani as well. But like
but I
Judge, it may
saw
not
Otani
hit you.
during the WBC. We were on the field. I didn't feel that way. It was Mariano, and I feel like it's going to be Mookie.
That is crazy. So I will say the only time that I've felt truly starstruck Louisville Airport. I was like 22 years old. Baggage claim, Carlos Boozer. Just
No
standing next to
way.
Carlos Boozer. Because I just remember that one NBA offseason where the Bulls were promised LeBron and D Wade and Bosh, and then
So were
Dwight
the Knicks.
Howard, and then
To be
Melo.
fair,
Yeah,
we were
like
both in the
everybody was
same boat.
promised.
The Knicks were getting all those
Yeah,
guys too,
the
apparently.
Knicks and the Bulls, and like once that fell through, it was like, oh, we're going to be the Adidas team with Derrick Rose and Dwight Howard, and then it turned into Carmelo Anthony, and then we settled with Carlos Boozer, and I was like, you ruined my life. And then I saw him at baggage claim, and I was like, I felt that I felt that sensation on my skin. I'm starstruck. That was the only time I've ever been starstruck. But Mookie is as close to perfection as we have in baseball. I've got two more guys that I really want to highlight here before we go. Freddie Freeman is the World Series MVP. It took us this long to highlight that. Homer in each of the first four games. I mean, he was amazing. He's a Hall of Famer, and he's going to rack up some of these milestones, man. He's going to hit a home run milestone. He's going to get a hit milestone. I mean, he's just going to keep going, ain't he? And I love how much he wears his heart on his sleeve. Like you saw so much emotion from Freddie Freeman this week, and it was a joy to watch Freddie Freeman play baseball over the last 5 games.
Worst take of my career so far.
Yeah.
No, because like you make fun of the Ellie thing. I'm joking.
Right.
You know
Right.
that. Like Christian Javier was a really bad take, but this doubting because of an injury, Peter, you fucking idiot. You dumb idiot. You moron. You doubted Freddie Freeman, dude. The future Hall of Famer. You're going to remember that, you stupid moron. You wrote in your dumbass write up, oh, well, Freddie, I don't know if he's 100%. You idiot. You doubted him? You doubted him?
Yeah.
What a stupid take. I wouldn't trust me forever. For anybody listening, I wouldn't trust me forever. I'm drunk. I have had a lot of bourbon.
Dude, you're crazy. We'll get you out of here. This is crazy, is it? Man, yeah, I don't really have much else on Freddie aside from
No, I mean, he was. I just think it's incredible what he did because I do like. I'm an idiot for saying that the ankle thing, but the
yeah,
ankle thing was real. I mean, he
yeah,
was limping 10 days ago.
right,
And for the fact that and even in the last game too, right? He didn't hit a home run. He didn't set another record,
right.
right? He did his seventh, so he doubled his own record. Not doubled, but you know what I mean.
Hmm.
Um, but he still got the base hit, right? He still did everything,
He's still a
played
presence. He's
played
just a
perfect first
presence.
base. He's the greatest guy in the world. Like he's the guy that you want your daughter to date. I don't know. Am I going crazy right now?
Maybe a little bit.
Okay.
Last question for you. Dave Roberts, we hit on him just a little bit, and we said he managed a perfect series. You extended it to the postseason, and I don't hate that either, especially using Honeywell the way that he did in the NLCS. I mean, is Dave Roberts the manager of the LA Dodgers until he doesn't want to be anymore at this
Yeah.
point?
No. Yeah.
I think so. Like,
He locked
I
that
don't
in.
I don't see a world where they fire him the next 5 to 7 years. I think this guy, if he wants to manage the LA Dodgers for the next decade, he can manage the LA Dodgers for the next decade. Because he handles superstars. He
Yeah.
handles that team and that payroll. But he also yeah, like strategy is a big part of baseball. I don't know how much impact a certain manager is going to have over the other. I think 95% of a job that an MLB manager does is have their finger on the pulse of a baseball team and all the individuals on it. And I don't necessarily think it was a strategy thing leaving Treinen in. I think that was Dave Roberts having his finger on the pulse of Blake Treinen and having
Yep.
his finger on the pulse
Yep.
of the Dodger situation and him understanding his guy to a level that very few people understand Blake Treinen.
Yep.
And managers are professional. It is a professional environment. Like you're dealing with guys that are making $30 million a year. Um, they have so many people in their corner. Like the manager and player just because a player's in that clubhouse does not mean that him and Dave Roberts are going to be best friends. But it feels like Dave Roberts has made the effort to understand each player on that roster at a very micro level on the baseball field.
Yeah.
And I think he does that. He understands his roster as well as anybody in Major League Baseball at this point.
That's the what he did with Treinen is going to go down in MLB history. Going
Probably.
out to the mound, your guy has gone multiple innings to 30 odd pitches, and you go out there and you say, I want to look into his eyes.
Yeah.
And
And
what did Dave Roberts see? Think about that for a second. I want to look into his eyes.
yeah.
He stared him down.
And he
I
got
don't
the
know what
right
was
read.
said. And then he goes back to the dugout because he says, I trust in my guys. And Dave Roberts, you can say whatever you want about him. But, and what's killed him in the past is trusting in his guys, right? Leaving Kershaw out there a little bit too long. Leaving some bullpen guys out there a little bit too long. That's bit him in the ass. Almost got him fired. I mean, how many Dodger fans asked for Dave Roberts to
Dude,
get let
he
go?
has
The
perpetually
entire
been on the
fan
hot
base.
seat. Yeah.
And then, but here it is. And here's why Dave Roberts is probably going to enjoy this World Series win as much as anybody else, is because he trusted in his guys and his guys got it for him.
Yep.
And that is another level of success that's hard to fathom.
Yep.
Because it's almost like a family oriented beyond just the team. Like he believes in his guys. I assume he, it's a manager. I don't know. I'm getting drunk. It thinks of him like a little bit of like kids in a way. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I mean,
Because he
they're
trusts in
30
him
somethings.
so
Like
much. And
Treinen's 36 years old, but I will tell you, like, it's very hard for one man to understand another grown man like that.
and he did
Especially when
all of
you,
them.
yeah, all of it. And like Treinen, how long has he been around Blake Treinen? Let's be honest. Like,
How about going to Bueller? How about
yeah,
going to Bueller in that spot?
going to Buehler and understanding it, but like honestly, that's a bit more cut and dry because that was his side day. Like he was
But it's
scheduled to
not
throw a
really cut and
bullpen that day.
dry.
It's not
I
cut
mean,
and
to
dry.
go to Bueller on 1 day's rest is a
Yeah,
gamble.
it takes Cajones, man. And like
Yeah.
Bueller had him, but Dave Roberts had him to go that way as well. He could have run Daniel Hudson out there, who was gone
Yeah.
back to back before.
Well,
Hudson
that would
was
have
up
ended
for a minute.
poorly.
Probably would have ended poorly. So like he had the wherewithal to know it's like, you know what, if we're gonna finish this thing right now and we're not letting this thing get back to Los Angeles, like we have to go to Walker at this point.
Yep.
So it just seemed like he has this feel for a group of very rich grown men that is not common. I think Cora has that feel. I think Terry
Yeah.
Francona in his best years has that feel. I think Bruce Bochy has that feel. Like, is Dave Roberts the level of Bruce Bochy at this point? No. But I think Dave Roberts and AJ Hinch are in similar weight classes, to be honest with
Yeah.
you.
No, I agree with you. I have a question for you because I'm post game 5 loss, not in the right
Sad.
headspace.
Yeah.
You don't think the Yankees fire Boone, do you?
They shouldn't.
I
I think
agree.
if they do, they're making a huge, huge mistake.
Yeah, I keep going back to and hire who?
Right. It's
Right,
like,
like
hey,
who's coming in and changing
the
everything?
the only answer right now that would make any sort of sense, and I still don't think it would make much sense. Skip Schumacher is not going to get the White. He didn't get the White Sox job. Will
But
Venable
even
got the
like
White
Skip
Sox job.
Schumacher, I mean, is he better than Boone? We have no idea.
No, I don't think
No
so.
idea.
And it's like, what my thought is, what separates Skip Schumacher from Aaron Judge in that clubhouse? Judge is
Four
the
years.
captain.
4 years of age. I mean, how old is
I
Skip
mean,
Schumacher? Isn't he
a decade in
40?
age, like previous
Yeah.
managerial experience.
Yeah. I mean,
You know,
yeah.
like
No, it's
I
still
think
Boone.
Boone being there,
I'm
Boone
fine with
doing
Boone.
this. I'm very curious as to what Boone said after this game to
Yeah.
his guys, and we won't find out. Um, but I don't think that I think it would be a huge, huge mistake if they let Boone walk.
Yeah.
That's what we
They
got.
won't. And they shouldn't. Um,
You just tapped off your post loss bourbon. We're
there
at
was a
54
lot of it.
minutes. You've stomached enough Dodger talk. The LA Dodgers have won the World Series in
Yeah.
2024, 4 games to 1
They
over the New
deserve all
York
the
Yankees.
talk. They deserve all the talk they can get. I mean,
Yeah.
they were just better. They were. And what's even scarier is they're just scratching the surface.
Yeah.
They're scratching the surface with a World Series win.
This team could be dynastic.
This team could be dynastic. That's a tough pill to swallow.
Yep.
All right, are we done now?
We're done.
All right, everybody. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode of the Just Baseball Show. I know I didn't. But if you did, please, last thing, if you haven't yet, you've been listening all year, we'd greatly appreciate a 5-star review, whether that be on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. If you've been watching us on YouTube, let us know your favorite moments of the season. Let us know your favorite moments of the Just Baseball Show. Give me something to be happy about. If you care about me, even an ounce. If you care about me an ounce, you will give me some fun comments to read in the morning. Please. You will give me some fun reviews on the 5 stars to review in the morning. If you care. Now, if you don't, this is your World Series. You just won. And I'm in piss. If you want to go get some Just Baseball merch, go ahead. It's in the episode description. Congratulations, Los Angeles Dodgers. You were the better team and you deserve to win this World Series. You deserve it. And you won in 5. I was delusional. I was wrong. And you were better. Congratulations to the Los Angeles Dodgers on being World Series champions. Walker Buehler, congratulations on closing it out. Freddie Freeman, congratulations on a World Series MVP. The parade in LA is going to be awesome.
Yep.
Congratulations. For Jack McMullen, I'm Peter Apple. And with that, thank you, everybody.